now.
And welcome back to the DM Sports Talk podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, David, along with my other co-host, Matt. Matt, how you doing this week?
Good. How are you, dude?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, it was a fun week of football, not for kickers, but other than that, it was an entertaining week. A lot of surprising games, honestly.
I enjoyed it. It was good. I only watched. Oh, let me see. I didn't watch the Sunday night game. So I watched the White Sox game.
Yeah.
But that's over now. So
yeah, but I mean, viewing by your shirt there, though, a new season has begun. So
yeah, 10 o'clock tonight. Can't wait. 2 more hours. Return of the root beer float. Cannot wait. Anyways, so should we just jump in?
I think we should. I think we probably should just address the elephant in the room, eh? And I'm not talking about me this time. So
for fucking once.
For once, So instead, though, we're gonna talk about that no good piece of shit, John Gruden.
Yeah. So, it doesn't surprise me. Just trying to process, like, the NFL has this end racism together. All the things on the back of players' helmets, all the things on their fields and the sidelines, the end zones. And I can't say that I can't say that I'm surprised that John Gruden is that kind of person, because he strikes me as that kind of person. I mean, They say never judge a book by its cover, but in this case, judging the book by the covers probably make you right. So
pretty safe bet.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing for me is like, I spent some time on Twitter after the whole thing came out, and there was a lot of people defending John Gruden, and defending the idea that what he said 10 years ago shouldn't affect him now. But again, the thing about it is it wasn't just 10 years ago. It was as early as 3 years ago. I mean, we're talking 3 years ago. This man is sending messages that are and emails that are racist, misogynistic, homophobic, and one of his players is openly gay. And you're gonna and you make homophobic comments. I mean, how do you even want to go out and play for a guy that you don't know if he likes you or not, because of your sexuality, or because you're gay, or because of anything else? I mean, who else knows? Like, I mean, we don't bring up politics, but I mean, he threw out words about Joe Biden. He threw out words about Roger Goodell. He threw out words about DeMaurice Smith. Like, at some point, I'm shocked and disappointed that Mark Davis, sorry, Al's dead, but Mark Davis, I'm surprised and shocked and offended that he didn't take action when it leaked. For them to meet and then mutually part ways, that, like, the storyline said that he resigned, but it was a mutual parting.
Yeah, and it's like those situations at work, when you have a shitty coworker and management knows that, and they continue to just let him drive by until they're to the point they're going to fire him, and then he quits and he just takes the easy way out, if you will. That's how it feels.
And I just, as somebody with family members who are gay, and somebody who I'm very, very vocal on the support for people of color. I'm a very vocal supporter on that subject. And I don't understand how does the NFL move forward? How does the NFL go from how do you go from like addressing the things that you were addressing post George Floyd? You start making progress and you start addressing things and you start doing these things, and then another bombshell gets dropped and the NFL is like, look, this is the Raiders situation. This is up to them. And it's like the NFL should have stepped in and been like, you got to go.
Yeah.
You know, but at some point, like when and how does the NFL move forward? Because you can't have, not that he's there anymore, but I'm sure there's others in the league with emails like this. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And how do you move on when you don't know what else is going on? How do you move on from a man making $100 million over the course of 10 years as a head coach who's not a good head coach? His attitude sucks. It just, I don't understand. How do you go from letting this man into your locker room and lead your locker room, and you're in a position of leadership, and this comes, this is that Twitter thing. On Twitter, people were like, oh, well, Deshaun Watson is in the league and he's got allegations of sexual assault. Yes, understood. Allegations. I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson's not guilty. I'm saying that he's innocent until proven guilty, which is what the justice system says.
Right.
John Gruden is guilty of racism, homophobism. He's guilty, and there should have been course of action faster, way faster. He shouldn't have been allowed on the sideline on Sunday. He shouldn't have been. And for there not to be any kind of urgency to make a decision and give him the punishments that should come with his actions, the reaction, I mean, it spread quickly. But, people were like, oh, Deshaun Watson's still in the league. Big Ben is still in the league. Like, yeah. But a lot of these people who are pointing out that there's, that Deshaun Watson is in the league and he's got 20-some sexual assault allegations. Yeah. But they listed Kareem Hunt. They listed Deshaun Watson. They didn't list Richie Incognito. They didn't list Ben Roethlisberger. We're talking about people who, Richie Incognito, if I'm not wrong, made racist comments.
Yes.
And
I
then
believe that's true. Yeah.
And then you have Ben Roethlisberger, who settled out of a sexual assault case. And he's allowed to play. He's allowed to be in the NFL. And if that's not white privilege, then what is? People, you can't stick up for one race and not the other when it's the same situation. It's the same situation. When you are in a course, when you're in a position of leadership and you're in a position of power, and you're supposed to be the guy in Las Vegas that kids growing up in Las Vegas wanting to be head coaches in football, wanting to grow up in sports. You're supposed to be the guy that they look to and be like, look, be like John Gruden. But there's not a single parent and there's not a single person teaching these kids be like John Gruden.
Yeah.
But they're also not teaching them don't be like John Gruden. And it's a problem. When you're in a position of power, it's your job. It is your job to lead by example. Be the person you want other people to be. And John Gruden just shit the bed. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating. It's angering. It's everything. It's every emotion. It's every emotion. Watching NFL Sunday Countdown, watching Randy Moss breakdown, crying on set, Teddy Bruschi crying on set. It may not affect white people, Caucasian people, but it affects people of color. It affects the African Americans, the Mexican Americans, the Asian Pacific Americans. It affects people. And for the NFL and for the Raiders to not take action faster is a problem. And the NFL's got a long way to go. The NBA is an example of what the NFL needs to be able to do. The NBA is a global brand, and they do things very, very well. They combat things very, very well. And it's not just the commissioner. It's not Adam Silver. It's team owners. It's outside of Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. How often do you hear from NFL owners? You don't. They hide behind their general managers. They hide behind their social media. That's how they make their statements.
And the NBA actually did have, I guess, something a little similar. I think it was an owner of the Clippers, Donald Sterling, years ago.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and it came out with those remarks and things like that. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the NBA that stepped in and they did something about it.
Exactly.
It was taken care of, and the players appreciated it, and everybody was able to move on. It took a little bit of time, as all of these will. But that was like a way of realizing when it was time to step in and when you had to do something about it, which kind of concerns me about the brass of the NFL and who's running it up higher than that. You know, when you speak about head coaches and things like that and other people that are sending things like this, you know, like was somebody above there kind of protecting John Gruden?
The other thing and the last thing I'll say about this, because we got to move on, because we have other things to talk about. I have another rant here later in the show when we get to the recap of the Vikings-Lions game. The biggest thing is the NFL's got to move forward. But how does the NFL move forward? 70% of your players are African American players. I mean, they're people of color. They're not white people. They're not Caucasians. They're not 70% are people of color. How do you have to now you have to, if you're Roger Goodell and you're the NFL, you have to kind of backtrack, go back to what you started doing, and you have to do it all over again. You have to gain your players' trust. You have to gain the trust of the NFLPA. You have to gain the trust of DeMaurice Smith. The people who are saying that the NFL leaked these emails, they did not. Understand where these emails came, or how these emails came about. One, John Gruden wrote them. Yep. Two, the reason that these came out is the NFL is doing an investigation on the Washington football team, on their head athletic trainer. Okay, for we don't know what. They haven't said, hey, this is why, but they are doing an investigation on that. Mm-hmm. They scrubbed through, I think it was like 30,000 emails that came to the team's facility, whether it be front office personnel, coaches, trainers, owners, GMs. It doesn't. They scrubbed for things, and this just happened to be something that came about, and they came across these, and the NFL sent them to the Raiders. Somebody somewhere got a hold of them, and somebody somewhere leaked them. Whether that was the Raiders, whether that was the Washington football team, whether that was the NFL, we don't know. But you can't go back and blame the NFL for leaking these because you don't know. The only other thing about this whole thing that's upsetting is John Gruden sent pictures of topless Washington football team cheerleaders to the owner of the of the Washington football team. And they were forced to take these photos. They weren't willing. They were forced. And that is in my opinion, I'm no professional, but in my opinion, sexual assault. Is it not? And
No,
so
yeah, I
so
think that falls under the same umbrella
so
for
I
sure.
think the NFL needs to kind of take a step back, take a look in the mirror. If you're a coach in the NFL, you need to take a step back, take a look in the mirror, take a look at the players that are playing for you, that are suiting up every week, who are putting their bodies on the line for you to get your paycheck. The people who are playing in these games for you, you need to take a step back, take a look in the mirror, think about those players, think about who they are as humans, not as players, as humans. Who are they? What is their family like? Do
Um,
you know? Ask those questions to yourself. And if you don't think that you can be in the building in full support of your African Americans, your Mexican Americans, your Pacific Asian Americans, your gays, your transgenders, if there's any of those. I mean, if you can't be in support of all 52 men on your roster, just step out. Because there's people, and there are aspiring head coaches, and there are aspiring coaches in the world, in the country, that will gladly, open arms, accept these people for who they are as people, and they'll move on and they'll support them, and they'll have a better coaching record. They'll have a better team. They'll have better team cohesion if you just step away, because you are ruining the sport of American football.
No.
Anyway,
Very well said. I agree with everything that was said. And with that being said, we will now continue to your regularly scheduled podcast here with Week 5 of the NFL here. And how many kickers should get released?
All of them,
Because
except for the Viking kicker.
you see, and here's the thing though, too, right? Is because that was a thing that kind of pissed me off on the internet. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody, all these fans of these teams calling for their kickers, not other people, but fans of their teams calling for their kickers, to be released and cut and all this. And it's like, okay, but like, can they not? I mean, everybody has a bad week. Ironically, it seemed that all the kickers had a bad week. But like, Colts fans were calling for Rodrigo Blankenship to be cut, and I'm like, guys, you guys watched one bad game.
Isn't he hurt?
Played well his whole career. He had a hip injury and was still playing.
I was gonna say he's hurt.
And to kick a ball with a hip injury for one, but not even just that though, too, right? Like he's been very consistent over his career, and all these kickers have been very consistent. That's why they have the job they do. Mason Crosby, how consistent has he been for over the years? He has gray hair, and he's still playing in the NFL. Like it says, right? I mean, these guys know when it's time to hang it up to you. Adam Vinatieri knew when his last year was it. And people were coming to his head. It's one of those things. It just irked me the wrong way with people on the internet. But let's get into last week's games here and see how many of these I picked wrong, because I picked a lot of them wrong.
So if you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, the picks won't be visible this week. Working on some graphics and things, so we're gonna make some changes there. So the visual won't be there this week, but plan for it next week. I do start a new job next Monday, so depending on how that all goes and how much time I get, I plan to have some new graphics up. So
congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks.
Hey, you do, it's a back to work, like all these NFL teams in the next week. But last week we had a Thursday night game, fun game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. And the Los Angeles Rams came out and took the win 26-17. Russell Wilson got hurt. And Geno Smith looked pretty good in that game too, by the way. Didn't look bad.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks worked out Blake Bortles this week.
Interesting.
I think they were working out Blake Bortles
because Russell's out a couple weeks now, right?
I think he's probably out like 6 to 8. I think is what they said. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna go out and say I only got 4 games wrong this week. Like, and I didn't bet. I didn't put any money on these games this week, but I should have.
Yeah. Well, that was I think you picked the Rams in this game, if I'm not
I did.
mistaken.
I did.
Which
Did I
I
did.
picked Seattle.
Of course you did.
If Russell doesn't get hurt, maybe I don't know.
No.
Um,
Russell stalled that offense, man.
yeah.
I was speaking to a a fellow Seahawks, well, not a fellow, but a Seahawks fan, right? I was talking to
Yeah.
a kid that
Yeah.
mows my
Yeah.
yard actually, and
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
we were talking during the game, and he's like, maybe we should trade Russ and get value while it's there, get some value, fix the defense, and let Geno take over.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but
I mean, I definitely understand the whole, because I mean, sometimes I do feel like teams hold on to players for too long,
I
right?
guess I should.
Like they feel like they owe them something,
I guess I should know how you feel about this because you are all like Tony Pollard because he had a few better games than Zeke. So, in my opinion,
I mean, not even just Tony Pollard in general, just any running back that fits their system better is what I was trying to say. You just trying to turn the words.
Zeke is fine, and he's performing fine.
Finally got it going a little bit. Finally got it going a little bit. You know who hasn't though? The New York Jets.
Of course,
who fall to 1-4. And again, picked that one wrong there. Rode the wave of Jets fans in the U.S. Kind of not much to talk about there. The next one, though, there's a lot to talk about there. This was the overtime win of the Green Bay Packers over the Cincinnati Bengals. Battle of two teams who were 3-1 going into the game. At this point, though, the Bengals didn't get the win. But do you feel like this year isn't a fluke year for them now, though? Like they are for real? Not Super Bowl contenders or anything like that, but they have a good team and probably can make a good playoff run.
If they make the playoffs, they'll have to be a wild card. There's not any doubt in my mind.
I mean, they could win the division.
No way.
No.
Who's
that? I mean, Cleveland?
No, the Ravens will win that division.
Forgot about the Ravens.
The Ravens.
That's a tough division.
The Ravens are the most complete team in that division, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're injured. Like they're
hurt.
Very injured, which is insane.
So Lamar. I do think that. I think the AFC is a whole lot flukier than it's ever been. Like the last few years, you pretty much knew who was coming out of the AFC. This year, I don't think that we all know. Because
which I like though.
Oh, I love it. Because here's the situation, right? Can the Chiefs bounce back? Can the Chiefs are the Chiefs gonna be the team that everyone expects them to be, or is this like the start of the downfall of the Chiefs? Maybe they have a down year. I mean, I don't know. But you have in that division, you have the Chargers who look great, probably have MVP, maybe MVP runner-up. On the team. I mean,
and don't get mixed up here too. It's not like I feel like everybody's hating on the Chiefs, but it is very hard in sports in general to sustain success over years, over year, in any of the sports. It's incredibly difficult.
When you look at the standings of that division, I mean, it's not competitive. I mean, the Chiefs are at the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
I mean, who expected? You have the Chargers at 4-1, the Raiders at 3-2, the Broncos at 3-2, the Chiefs at 2-3. The Raiders are probably going to finish last. Let's be honest. They're changing head coaches now. This whole drama around the Raiders is probably going to drop them. Not that, and I said it, I think last week, about Derek Carr. Is he going to just fold under pressure? This is the pressure we're talking about, and he folded on Sunday against the Bears. Folded. So the Raiders are probably going to finish last in that division. The Broncos probably second to the last. Chiefs third to the last, and then obviously the Chargers will probably win that division. But the problem is when you look at all the other AFC teams, the AFC North is the strongest. The North and the West are the two strongest divisions in the AFC. The Ravens, Bagels, Browns, all probably going to be playoff contenders. Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, probably, or Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs. Three of those teams, each of those teams. I mean, but you only have so many wildcard slots.
Yeah.
And, does 2 teams come out of the West? Do 3 teams come out of the West? I mean, the South, not too hot. I mean, the Titans are really the only strong team in the South, and then the Bills, probably the best team in the conference. So, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what we're getting when it comes to the Bengals and that conference. So, do I think they can make the playoffs? Yes. Do I think they can make a run? Yes. Do I think they can make it to the Super Bowl? Hell no.
Right.
There are way too many good teams. Too many teams that are better, more experienced. The Bills probably going to be in the Super Bowl. It'll probably be AFC Championship Bills Chargers because both teams look great, and that will be a game that everyone wants to watch.
I want to watch it already.
Yeah.
Can it happen now?
I wish.
So we get to the next game here, right? And I'm watching this game, right? It's my second team. Colts play on Monday night. 1:00 game. All right, yeah. Let me turn it on here. Me and my girlfriend are covering pumpkins, right? Vikings up ahead. I'm like, all right, cool. I see that the Packers and Bengals game is close. I'm like, oh, let me watch this. Let me see what happens here. Next thing I know, I see a Facebook post from one Matt Chambers here, and I go, wait, no shot, right? And I check the score, and it's 17-16.
Is that the post was give us the first pick because we fucking suck? Yeah,
yes. Yeah. And I swung it back over there, and I was like, 37 seconds or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh god, it has to be a field goal to win the game. Flashed him back a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Sneak out of there with a win, but
so all right, I'm gonna go off
at this point
here.
though. Actually, quick question though.
What?
Quick question. At this point in the season, do you feel like at that point, screw it, you should have just taken the loss against Detroit?
No.
And full on tank? No,
because I mean,
still feel hope in the year.
I mean, you look at the division. The division. The Packers are 4-1. The Bears are 3-2. The Vikings are 2-3. The Vikings are only down 2 games.
Oh no, absolutely.
I mean, we have there's a long season to go. The Vikings have showed promise. We've talked about the Bengals and the overtime and the unfortunate fumble that I don't believe was a fumble. You have that fumble, and then you go up against Arizona. You go into Arizona, and you compete. And you shoot out against them, and you go to kick a game-winning field goal, and you lose. You beat the Seahawks. Not that that's saying a whole lot, but you beat the Seahawks, which you hadn't beaten in the previous 3 seasons.
So to be fair, at that time when they played them too, though, I feel like it was a different Seahawks team than what we're currently seeing. A better Seahawks team a couple weeks ago. Right.
So and we won that one decidedly. So. The thing about the Vikings is I think they have identity issue. I don't know that they know what they want to do, because when you look at like what they did against the Lions this week, right? Kirk was 25 for 34, 275, a touchdown and a pick. The pick was a tipped ball that got picked. I think that's his second of the year. Alexander Madison, 25 carries, 113 yards. Okay, that's a little more than 5 yards a carry if I did the math right. Justin Jefferson, 7 receptions, 124 yards, no tuds. The only touchdown was to
Madison,
was it Alexander Madison on a receiving touchdown. Yep. Was the only touchdown that Kirk threw. The Vikings haven't scored a second half touchdown in 4 weeks. That's concerning. But that being said, they haven't had to. When you go in with the lead, you lean on your defense. You run the football and you run the clock. It's classic. Yeah. The Vikings remind me a lot of the Iowa Hawkeyes, right? Not that our defense is even remotely. I mean, if our offense went against the Iowa defense, we probably lose. But it reminds me a lot of what Iowa wants to do. Iowa wants to get you one-on-one. They want to get turnovers. They want to get points off those turnovers. They want to get the lead early. They want to hold the lead by using their defense. And that's kind of what, I mean, even though the Vikings offense is much, much better than they've ever been, really, I think that they're having identity issues. They don't know if they want to run the ball. They don't know if they want to throw the ball. They run it at predictable times. They throw it at predictable times. It's just, there's not enough of the surprise element to what the Vikings are doing right now. And first year offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, I think he'll figure it out. We've got a long season ahead of us.
Yeah.
So I do think that we'll eventually get there. But the rant I have about this is, when week 4, was it week 4 that the Packers played the 49ers?
Believe it might have been week 3.
Week 3. Week 3, the Packers played the 49ers. Okay. 49ers score a touchdown with 37 seconds left to take the first lead of the game, 28-27. Then Aaron gets out on the field with 37 seconds, throws 2 passes to Devontae, spikes the ball twice to stop the clock, and they kick a 54-yarder for the game winner to win. 2-1 and 2-1. Both teams are 2-1. Okay. Okay. Now, flash over to this week. Well, okay. So then you get up on Monday morning that week, all over the highlights. Aaron Rodgers' drive. Aaron Rodgers does it again. Aaron Rodgers does it again. I can't believe they left him 37 seconds. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. Aaron Rodgers, Packers drive, Mason Crosby, blah, blah, blah. That whole spiel, right? The media all over this. Okay. Fast forward to the Vikings-Lions game. Fumble the ball with a minute and I think 30 some seconds left. Okay. So we fumble, and hold on, let me find it. Here we go. Okay. So we fumble the ball with 2:23 left on the clock. Okay. The Lions take the ball and they score, and then they go for 2, and they get the 2-point conversion. Okay. So they get a 2-point conversion and left, ironically, 37 seconds on the clock. Okay. So the Packers started their drive from their own 25 due to a touchback. Okay. Our return man decides, I'm going to bring it out, and gets hit at the 18. Okay. So we take the ball from our own 18, and Kirk has a 21-yard pass to Adam Thielen, called a timeout, 27 seconds. Then we have Kirk throws another pass, a 6-yard pass to D.D. Westbrook, called another timeout. And then Kirk throws a 20-yard pass to Adam Thielen to the Detroit 36. Okay. We spike the ball with 3 ticks left, kick a field goal, 54-yarder to win the game. Crickets in the media. No one talks about Kirk Cousins driving down the field 46 yards in 5 plays, 1 less play than the Packers had, by the way. 46 yards, getting all the way down the field in 37 seconds, kicking a game-winning field goal. Yes, it's against the 0-4 Lions. Yeah, it is. But that 0-4 Lions team, that defense, played better than they played all year. And they're probably not 0-4 if it wasn't for a 66-yard NFL record field goal,
which also ended in the same score as this game. Ironic.
Bingo. I mean, but it's you're probably talking about it then, because it's a 1-4 team or a 1-3 team versus a 1-3 team. Like, it's 1-3 and 1-3.
Yeah. But
no one talked about it because the Lions haven't won a game yet. And it's so frustrating, because if you're not currently Justin Herbert, all kudos to that guy, though. Earned it. Josh Allen, Pat fucking Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield. If you're not those guys, you're not being talked about. And Kirk deserves to be talked about. 37, he did the same thing Aaron Rodgers did. The same thing.
Yeah.
And not a single person talked about it.
Yeah. Well, and we talk about Matt Stafford, I feel like every single week too. Another guy even still doesn't get talked about.
Yep.
And I feel like part of that is because of his years in Detroit and just people not even realizing he exists. And even this year, he still doesn't feel like he's getting his full kudos, you know?
The biggest problem that I have, not this week, because this week the Vikings play in Carolina. Okay.
Right.
But next week, the following week, on Halloween, Sunday Night Football, Vikings Cowboys in Minneapolis. How much of the media talks about primetime Kirk?
Yep.
Because everyone's going to talk about it, but everyone wants to talk about it because he's not good in primetime. Everyone wants to talk about Kirk Cousins, and he's not good. He's overpaid. The dude's legit. The dude's playing well.
Yeah.
The media has painted him, and the media in the sports media, the NFL networks, the analysts on NFL Network.
Yeah.
Everyone that doesn't believe in Kirk Cousins has made everyone else think that the guy's not good. But look at his statistics, specifically last year and this year. And if that's not a good quarterback, then I don't fucking know what is.
Right.
Anyway, that's what I have. I just it upset me because I thought about it after I realized it was 37-37. I was like, wait a minute, no one said any fucking thing about this. And then I realized, I was like, okay, it's because he's not Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers played for the Vikings, though, all over the fucking news. Bet you.
Yeah. Well, the next game here, Mr. Inconsistent leads the team out to another win. Yeah, the New Orleans Saints beat the Washington football team. This was one of those. These are one of those like Jameis Winston, what the fuck games. That next week he will be right back to being what he is, a bottom quarterback, not even top 20 quarterback.
He's not even top 32. There's better people that could be in the NFL. I mean, I like Tebow. I like Jameis. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he's I like him off the field. I don't like him on the field.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be my quarterback. If you're picking straws there, but
I took Washington.
I did pick Washington as well. That was one of the ones you got wrong, huh?
Yeah, Chase Young's been real disappointing this year. He kind of fell off real fast. Just not getting pressure. Just not. Yeah. I mean, it's
that sophomore slump. Maybe I don't know.
That whole defense needs help. They should have been.
The next one here, though, I did pick correctly. And then looking back at it, still don't know how I picked it correctly. But the Philadelphia Eagles come out and upset the Carolina Panthers 21-18.
Gives me hope.
That one shocked me.
It gives me hope. It gives me hope for this weekend. Like, we go into Carolina, we're 2-3, but we could be 3-3 at the end of the day. And I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Not much to harp on there, honestly. The next one here, we had the Tennessee Titans lay the smackdown on Jacksonville. Probably were still pissed off a little bit about last week's loss still. Because honestly, that last week's loss and them being 3-2 as opposed to them now being 4-1, that could come back to bite them in the ass by the end of the year too.
Yep. I got that one right.
Yeah, I think I got that one right as well. Next one, we had the New England Patriots in a very entertaining game against the Houston Texans. But they squeak out the win 25-22.
I was a little scared there because I remembered that I picked the Patriots. I was like, I believe in Mac Jones. And then I was like watching and it was like 22-9. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The dumbest shit is happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next game we get the inconsistent as hell Pittsburgh Steelers getting a win over the Denver Broncos.
A beat up, injured Denver Broncos. Let's clarify.
Right. I'm just saying though, still inconsistent as hell. Pittsburgh Steelers.
They beat a team that is injured, a hurt team by 8 points.
No.
The Steelers fucking suck. They're terrible.
they're so
bad. And now that Juju's out, that just
Yep.
makes that team that much worse.
Yep, and that much more predictable.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Next game here, though, Tom Brady showed his killer mentality and says, I don't care who you are. The Jets are still happy they don't have to play him every year. He just went out there and he slaughtered the Miami Dolphins so bad that I don't even know if the Dolphins want to play next week. So,
I mean,
they might all be in rehab at this point.
The Eagles are in trouble this week.
That's
Eagles
tough.
are in trouble. Yep,
that's tough. Next one here, the Chicago Bears went into Las Vegas there and get a win and missed all the.
Let's clarify something
chatter
on this game. Let's clarify something. For those of you, okay, so I am a believer that I want people to succeed. Okay, I want people to succeed.
Absolutely.
I want players to succeed, whether they play for my mortal enemies or not. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yep.
I want Justin Fields to be successful.
Yeah.
But let's just clarify something here. Your quarterback was 12 for 20 for 111 yards.
Yeah.
This whole game.
Yep.
This whole game. Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they had less total yards than the Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the same amount of drives. They averaged less yards per play. They averaged less passing yards. They had more rushing yards. That's all that they had going for them.
Yep.
I personally, and this is just my opinion, I am a football fanatic. I watch a lot of football. I read a lot of football stuff.
No.
Justin Fields is not ready. The Bears are putting him in, and he's not ready.
No.
Trey Lance got put in. He's not ready.
No.
And
he got hurt now too. So.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
Justin Fields got hurt too. Justin Fields was hurt, and then he was like, "Oh, I sit out for 2 plays," and he goes back in. Personally, I want him to be successful. I want him to be good in the NFL. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that he never wins a Super Bowl while I was with the Bears, obviously, but I want him to be successful. And I think personally, the best way for him to be successful is for them to start Nick Foles, because Andy Dalton is hurt. I don't think Andy Dalton is good enough to start anymore. There's just not a player on that team that strikes me as an AJ Green type player, and that's what Andy Dalton needs, is an AJ Green type player.
Man, maybe Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson's done nothing all season, and it's terrible.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not really surprised though.
So I personally, if I'm the Bears, you play Nick Foles, you let Justin Fields learn from a Super Bowl winning quarterback, one of the 2 quarterbacks that have ever beaten Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
2.
It's true.
2 players ever beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and Nick Foles
you
did
can't
it.
get the other one.
And Nick Foles did it. So you play Nick Foles, as bad as that may make your team, as bad as you may be, it doesn't matter how bad that makes a team.
Yep.
You want Justin Fields to sit and learn. He needs to be a clipboard year. It needs to be a clipboard year. He needs to carry a clipboard. Yeah. He needs to learn. Because here's the problem. You're 3-2 right now. The Bears have played the Rams and lost. They beat the Bengals at home by 3. They got their ass beat by the Browns. They beat the Lions by 10, and then they just won to a very drama-filled Raiders team.
Yeah.
You play the Packers, the Bucks, the Niners 3 consecutive weeks.
Yeah, that's rough.
And I'm sorry, but you're probably coming out of this 0-3. And then you're going to play the Steelers, which you can win that one because the Steelers suck. And then you have the Ravens. You have the Lions. You have the Cardinals, the Packers, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Giants, the Vikings. Your schedule doesn't get any easier. And the defenses you're about to face are good. And I will reiterate, I want Justin Fields to be successful. I want him to be. Mm-hmm. I just don't think he's going to be. because of the situation he's been thrusted into. And this is why the Bears can never have good quarterbacks. It's because they thrust him into bad situations where he's not protected. The O-line is garbage, and his weapons are nowhere to be seen. And so then he feels like he has to do it all himself, and then he gets hurt, or then he does something stupid, and they start losing games, and then the head coach gets fired, and then they're like, "Oh, is Justin Fields going to be a bust? Is he? What's wrong with Justin Fields? It'll be all over the news. Bet you." Just he needs more time. It's not that he can't be good, because it could. Just he needs more time. And I mean, I know that there are many Bears fans that disagree with that sentiment because they're excited, but curb your excitement, because if you're patient, think about Tom Brady. Think about Aaron Rodgers. Think about Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. All those guys sat. All of them. And they were all best quarterbacks of all time. I mean, so not that there hasn't been quarterbacks that have been good coming out the gate starting right away, but there's more often than not. They're not exactly good starting right away. Pat Mahomes is another one that sat behind the quarterback. Not that he's good, because I can't stand him, but you know. Anyway, on to the next one, because we're running out of time.
So this one probably was game of the week. The Browns and the Chargers there. What a game that was. That was a fun one. The Chargers taking it 47-42.
Herbert's MVP.
Good game. If it keeps rolling the way it is, for sure. The next one here, we had the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants. Not surprisingly, Dallas went out there, did what they had to do. They did what they had to do, though, against a bad team. They won convincingly.
They did what they had to do against a hurt team. The Giants got hurt. Saquon got hurt. Daniel Jones got hurt. I mean, everyone's hurt. Kenny Galladay's hurt. Everyone's freaking hurt. And I think it would have been closer if the Giants were healthy, because I don't think the Giants are a bad team.
Yeah. The next one here, I think Arizona, the only undefeated team left in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, they are.
They take a 17-10 win, tough win, in the football's best division,
which is concerning. That concerns me. That win concerns me. You win by 7 against a Trey Lance-led 49ers team. When you go in and you play teams, I mean, you were shooting people out. I mean, it was shootouts. It wasn't. I mean, it's not like you ever went in and dominated a game, but I mean, you beat the Titans 38-13, the Vikings 34-33. The Jaguars don't count. The Rams you beat 37-20. I mean, and the Rams were the best team in the league at that point. So to only beat the Niners by 7, that's concerning, because why? Why did you not have more offense? Why were you not?
I think it's just one of those any given Sundays type of thing. I think the Niners did a nice job, though, at slowing down Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, and I think nobody has done it that much this year. So I think Arizona kind of got confused. Like, they had to do something different for the first time all year.
Did you see the comments by DeAndre after he broke the record for most receptions by a player under 30 or whatever?
He broke Larry Fitz,
Yeah, he was like, I want to thank all 20 of my quarterbacks.
He's not wrong.
It's hilarious.
He's had as many quarterbacks as Deshaun Watson has counts against him.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Just saying, it was one of his quarterbacks.
On we move. Let's go.
So the Bills smacked the Chiefs. Fuck you, Mahomes.
Yep.
And then
I echo that sentiment.
Yep. And then Monday Night Football never happened to us, so we go on to Week 6 of NFL, baby.
Why didn't Monday Night happen? What happened on Monday Night?
Well, the news came out and threw everybody off their game, obviously.
Bullshit.
So rough time. Hot Rod, get healthy soon, my man.
All right, on we go.
So we got Thursday Night Football. We got the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is when the GOAT just goes out there and murders people.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
All right. Well, the NFL sends the 2 of their shittiest teams back to London again this week. Here we get the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jacksonville Jaguars get their first win of the year. They're at home. They're gonna be. They're eventually. They will, eventually they will move to. They play a London game every year. They will move to London. When the NFL expands, and they're like, oh, we want to get a team over in Europe. Yeah, the Jaguars. You're leaving Duval and going over to London because that's just where they play, and they play well there. And I'm taking the Jags.
They do. I mean, they do.
I'm taking the Jags.
I am hopping on that as well. The next one here, we get the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. I'm just gonna go Green Bay. I don't think there's much to get into about this one.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I think the Packer defense will eat Justin Fields alive.
Yeah. I agree.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. The next one here, though, we do get the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Detroit to take on the 0-5 Lions. Is this the week the Lions get their first win and Dan Campbell can stop crying in post-game press conferences?
Yeah. I think I made comment the other day that the reason they lost is because their defense played as soft as their head coach is.
I guess they stopped biting kneecaps. Maybe if they go back to that strategy this week, they might get their first win. But
yeah, maybe. No, I'm taking Cincy. I think Joe Burrow comes back on that. Jamar Chase will have a big game. And that running game is nasty.
Go Cincy as well.
Yeah, I figured. All that pausing for fucking nothing.
It was, next one here, though, we get the Colts at home against the Houston Texans. Both teams are 1-4. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. Don't you start your favoritism shit, okay? This one makes sense. This one makes sense.
Nope.
It makes sense.
It does not.
So you're going Houston.
I am taking Houston.
You're going Houston. Okay.
Davis Mills. Right. Davis Mills played really well.
Davis Mills. Yeah.
He played really well against the Patriots and the Patriots defense, which has performed better than the Colts defense all season long. The Colts don't know how to keep a lead. They kind of shit the bed in the second half.
Our coach is a dumbass.
I mean, your quarterback blows. He's terrible. No. He's terrible.
No.
Terrible.
No.
Terrible.
No, watch Monday night. Monday night happened, okay? Monday night actually did happen. Watch Carson Wentz, okay? Because he was not the reason we lost that game. He is not the reason we lost that game. It was a hurt secondary that Lamar picked apart. Okay, it's unfortunate.
For once,
that offense looked better than it has all year.
For once,
they are getting together. Carson Wentz is in the first year of the system.
For once,
he's getting it together. You know what? I think this game here, just because of your your comments here, I think there should be something on the line for this one. You know?
No.
No. So you're not confident in Houston.
They're 2 1-4 teams. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not putting anything on the line for 2 1-4 teams. Not happening, bro.
No. You don't want to bet like loser, posts this embarrassing child pic on, on Twitter.
You can get on Facebook and see my embarrassing kids pics.
No. Let's be real here. You want to pick Indianapolis.
I'm not.
Anywho, we're going to move on to the Rams and Giants here in New York. I'm going Los Angeles there. The Giants are beat up, broken, battered.
Yep.
Not worth watching.
Yep.
The Kansas City Chiefs go to Washington.
What you got?
This is the week. This is the continued downfall right now. Like now it's just kind of like that ball kind of fell off the top of a mountain, right? And it's just rolling and rolling and rolling. Let's go Washington.
I want to pick Washington. I do.
I know.
I really do. But I think that this is, I think Washington will set up the ramp, as you're going down the hill and you have that bump that kind of makes you airborne a little bit. Like this will be that ramp where the Chiefs will kind of go up a little bit before they like start to lose that velocity going up, and then they just kind of start falling again, and then they'll plummet. So I'm taking Kansas City because Washington's defense has not played well this year. They should have been the top defense in the league. I don't know what's going on with them. I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire is hurt. He's on IR.
Yeah.
But I don't think that does anything. Pat Mahomes will
I
probably put
mean,
on a
they've never
show.
had a run game really much of anyways.
Right.
So I don't think it changes their offense.
Nope.
But the next one here, though, Minnesota goes on down to Carolina. Uh, this one's interesting. It's a tough call. I feel like too. I feel like we know where you're going. You're
Do
gonna
you?
pick your favorite team.
Nope.
Yes, you're picking Carolina.
I'm picking Carolina.
You're picking
I
Carolina.
am.
Hmm. I believe in Minnesota.
I do too. But
I'm going with Minnesota for the win.
I'm picking Carolina because Justin Jefferson didn't practice today. Adam Thielen didn't practice today. Dalvin Cook didn't practice today. Anthony Barr didn't practice today. We're just no one's practicing. I'm a little. I mean, I don't think the Panthers are the.
I mean, I think that's fair.
I
But
don't think. I don't
I can
think the.
see two of the three of them are going to probably still play.
I don't
come
think the
Sunday.
Panthers are the better team by any means. I think the Vikings are beat up, but the Vikings struggle with teams with good defenses. See the Browns game for example. We struggle with teams that have good defenses, and Carolina has a really good defense. So
I got you.
if Clint Kubiak can't get the ball moving, then I think Carolina wins. So I'm gonna take Carolina.
Alrighty. The next one here, probably one of the games of the week. We get the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Baltimore. This one should be fun.
Taking the Chargers.
I am also taking the Chargers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
Next one here, we get the Arizona Cardinals coming into Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals.
Taking the Cardinals.
Yeah. Bounce back game.
Well, I've taken Cleveland way too much this year, and they've let me down way too much. So until they prove me wrong,
just be aware.
Just the other way.
Just be aware of the Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb running back duo, because I think teams can run on Arizona. When you run effectively, it opens up the pass game, and I think that can happen for Cleveland.
For sure.
I just think Arizona has the better overall team, and I think DeAndre has a real big game.
I got you. We get the Las Vegas Raiders going into Denver.
Denver will win that.
I'm also going to go with Denver.
There's too much going on in Vegas.
I agree.
They're not focused.
I agree. The next one here, the Dallas Cowboys going into New England.
The Cowboys are the most complete team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
I mean, right now, Diggs is a rookie. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, they have Trayvon's a rookie, and he's ridiculous.
And right now, he's the difference maker. He's what's making that defense
good.
click. And good. Is also right now. Obviously, it would be my defensive rookie of the year, without a doubt. I mean, Dak said he doesn't even throw towards him in practice.
Yeah.
So maybe Mac should try that in the game this week.
Yeah. It's still going to be one-sided. Cowboys win big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one here looks like the NFL should look into flexing games more often here because
I think it's eligible. I think they can flex.
Good.
I think they can flex as of week 5, which would be this week.
So it's interesting that they
week,
decided let's have the Seattle Seahawks, the injured Seahawks, go against the inconsistent Pittsburgh Steelers in a Sunday Night Football game that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
I'm taking Seattle. Fuck it. Geno gets a win.
Feel you. And then Monday Night Football here. If Tennessee is healthy, this one's a fun one. Buffalo Bills going into Tennessee.
It's not a fun one.
It's not a fun one.
It's a blowout.
Even if Tennessee's healthy?
Even if Tennessee's healthy.
Do you think it's because of the Bills' defense and being able to shut down Derrick Henry? Because that's a lot of Tennessee's offense.
It's all of Tennessee's offense. It's all of their offense. It's one-sided and it's not close. And Tennessee has no shot.
Josh Norman isn't on the Bills anymore, right?
No.
Or if he is, he's sitting out this week.
Something
after last year. So that man got stiff-armed out of the league. What it feels like, at least.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick Buffalo as well, though. Buffalo's coming off a huge win against Kansas City, though, too. that momentum for them is just going crazy. Babies are getting put through tables. Bills Mafia is just absolutely insane.
All right.
We also had to throw in a tiebreaker though for that game as well.
Yeah, I threw
I'm gonna go 64.
I think I threw 60 in. Yeah, I think it'll be like
Yeah,
30.
that makes sense.
It'll probably be like,
I could see it being like a 40-20 blowout type of thing.
yep, something
High
like that.
scoring
Yep.
for so that's this week's games here.
And that's the pod.
How much time we got?
Like 4 seconds.
We got 4 seconds left. Quick shout out to everybody though who's been listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. The support on the TikToks, the Facebook page,
Twitter. I've been live tweeting some games on Twitter. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get a whole lot of interaction, but I wish I did.
You know, I mean, absolutely. You know, we say this every week. And I think we'll continue to say because it makes sense. You know, if you guys want to basically listeners' questions, things like that, things you guys want to talk about. You know, if you have opinions on some things, we'd love to interact with you guys in these various social media platforms.
You can leave a comment down below. Make sure if you've enjoyed the show, definitely hit the subscribe button, the bell, turn notifications on. Post every Wednesday night. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castro Podcasts, Radio Public, YouTube. I mean, there's tons of different things. You can also go to podpage.com/DM-sports-talk. And that'll have all the recent episodes as well as an about page, so you can kind of learn about us. And it also has a list of everywhere you can listen to us. And I think that's it. Make sure you hit a follow on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all the socials. And
we greatly appreciate you guys listening. So other than that, we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, catch up.
Peace.